Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 175. Hiya, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I watch your videos all the time. I have a story. It might be quite a long one, but bear with me. Is it a glitch or a haunting? I live in the UK and I grew up in a house that was built in the 30s. Oh wow, that's an old house. Throughout my childhood, I was pretty much harassed by a ghost in that house that I used to call the Shadow Man. It started one night. I heard whispers on the landing and I could see shadows from the crack in the door. I didn't recognize these voices, but from that night, it got worse and worse. They started to come in my room and it got so bad that I ended up sleeping in my parents' room for a year. No one else heard or saw them. As I got older, it became less and less. I was getting ready for a night out and me and my friends were taking pictures, and surrounding me on these pictures were orbs with distorted faces on them. I went to a medium and she said I was surrounded by spirits. Some I knew, but a lot of them I didn't. She said it's because I have a gift, but because my traumatic experience with ghosts as a child, I had somehow blocked the voices and they were desperately trying to talk to me. A few years later, I had gone to bed. I hadn't seen or heard the Shadow Man in a few years at this point, but I woke up at 3 a.m. Now, whenever I woke up at a time like that, I knew that something was going to happen, and it did. I had a lock on the inside of my bedroom door. It had been there since my parents bought the house. It was a built-in lock, and strangely, my room was the only one that had it. I locked it every night because of Shadow Man. I feel like Shadow Man doesn't need locks, right? I feel like shadow people can just appear, disappear, and walk through things, no? This night, I heard the lock unlock, followed by the very distinct shuffling of feet and heavy breathing Shadow Man had. Maybe this is a different thing. The light from my landing filled the room. Now, at this point, when I was little, I used to hold my ears and count in my head and eventually fall asleep like that. I always slept with a fusion over my stomach as he used to tickle me. Oh, he used to tickle you? That's weird. But this night I was fed up. All of a sudden I felt a force on top of me. It didn't feel like a body. It felt like I was being crushed by a wall. Through heavy breathing, I told him I wasn't scared of him anymore. And what was the worst he could do? Kill me? Well, I wasn't scared of that anymore. And I told him to leave along with reciting the Lord's Prayer. And he did. The force lifted. I heard the shuffling of feet leave my room and the door closed, followed by the lock locking. The next day I went to work and one of the ladies there came to me and said I had to accept a crystal with my left hand as she had felt that I was in danger last night and I was to sleep with it by my bed. It's about 13 years later and I've just had a baby. I live with my partner in a different house in a different town and it's started again. I swear it only haunts children, and now because I've had a baby, it's back. I had on the TV and the voices became distorted and it said very distinctively, "I'm evil," and I know exactly who it was as he was haunting my dreams. He traps me in my sleep now. I know I'm asleep, but he has control until a friend of mine who passed away came into my dream and told me I had to take back control, that I was strong enough and I could escape, which I did. But I know that he's been here because I had a baby. So I told him he can mess with me, but not my daughter. Since this happened, I had my daughter on the sofa to take a picture. I will attach the picture, and all of a sudden, a bright light surrounded her. I didn't have a flash on or any light. It is an iPhone live picture, so hopefully you'll be able to play it. Her Nana passed away just before she was born, and I'm sure it's her protecting her. Oh, I love that. Let's watch it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay, it's really bright. Wait, why does her face change? Look, she even says, notice how she is crying before the flash and after she has stopped and moved slightly. What is this? A glitch? A haunting? Yes, I see that. Look, she is crying, then there's a flash, and then she's happy. Maybe she sees grandma.